Hey there, I'm Lance and I'm a gamer.
And I'm Sam, and I'm a non-gamer.
We are Love to Hate, where we help gamers find great games to play with non-gamers.
And today we're taking a look at Natural Chaos by Three Nail Games.
Natural Chaos is a two-player abstract strategy game that is coming to crowdfunding here in the very near future, so make sure to check out the link down below in the description of this video after you watch it. Now, in this particular one, you and another player are going to be going head-to-head, as you will control two elements in this game, either fire and stone or water and plants. And with those two different elements, you are going to be placing out your 3D objects into one of four quadrants, moving your elements, or swapping positions of one of your element with one of your opponents that is lower in rank. And ultimately what you're trying to do in this game is connect four on one of the four quadrants on the board. The player who can do that first is going to be the winner. It takes about 15 minutes to play. Let me show you how this one works down at the table, and then we'll come back and share our thoughts on it as a gamer and non-gamer. All right, I have Natural Chaos on the table. Let me show you all about this abstract strategy game. Now, I do want to make sure you understand that what you see here is prototype, so the final artwork components, maybe even some of the rules, might change once it's released from crowdfunding. That being said, what you have component-wise, you do have a central board that's going to have four different quadrants on it, and you will have player pieces for two different sides. You've got your black side and your white side, as you can see the different colored bases. Now, on the black side, they are going to be rocks and fire. Now, I do want to point out that what you see here, these are 3D printed versions of the player pieces. The final copy of the game, we're told, is going to be injection molded plastic pieces. So they're not going to be 3D printed. But as you can see, they're going to be 3D nonetheless. And they're going to look like stones and fire for the black side. And then on the white side, it's going to be plants and water. And those are the different elements in the game. And you're reminded of that here on the center part of the board, because in this game, it's a little bit kind of like rock, paper, scissors, sort of speaks, but you've got four, obviously. Fire is going to beat plants, and plants are going to beat rocks, and rocks are going to beat water, and water is going to beat fire. And that's important that you remember that throughout the course of the game. Now, how a game is going to start, each player, this is a two-player game, one player will play this side, and the other player will play this side, and each player will secretly select one of their two elements. And so maybe the black side player is going to pick fire, let's say, and then the white side player, and they would hide it in their hand, the white side player is maybe going to pick water, and they would reveal at the same time. And going off of this chart in the middle, water beats fire, and so that's the case. The water player wins the toss-off, and they get to start the game. And how this is going to work, what you are trying to accomplish is you're trying to get any four of your pieces, doesn't have to be the same type, just any four of your pieces to be in a straight line, either horizontally, vertically, or diagonally in any one of the four quadrants. Think Connect Four, just you're playing it on four different quadrants. And what you can do on your turn, you can do one of three things. The first thing to do is to place any one of your pieces on any of the four quadrants that have the fewest number of your pieces. So at the beginning, none of the quadrants have any of your pieces on them, so you can place a element on any of the four quadrants. So maybe the white player places there, and then it would be the other player's turn, and maybe they place a fire. Let's say they place a fire right here, and then it would be the white player again, and maybe they place water. I don't know, let's say they place water right here, and then it would be the black player's turn. Now, the black player could take the second option on their turn, which the second option is to move one of your pieces. And you can move it up, down, left, or right. You cannot move diagonal. So maybe they move up like that. But then let's say they don't do that. Let's say they take actually the third option on your turn, which is to swap. And when you swap, what you're doing is you're going off of this chart right here, and you have to swap with an element that your element beats. So in this case, fire beats plant. And so we could swap these two like so. And that could be a possible swapping move. But let's say it's the white player's turn, because the white player actually has water down here, and it happens to be in the same space in the quadrant as an element that it beats in the same space of that quadrant. As you can see here, it's in this second column, third row space, and the water is in the same orientation, second column, third row. So if the white player wanted to, they could swap those two elements, because water beats fire, and that is a legal swapping move as well. And now they have two of their white pieces lined up, and they're that much closer to being able to get 4 in a row. And that's really all there is to this game. You just need to try to get 4 of your elements in a row on one of the 4 quadrants, keeping in mind that when you're adding an element to one of the quadrants, it has to be the quadrant that has the fewest. So in other words, let's say that the white player has something like this, where they've got 2 there, 1 here, but none here. If they were to add another element, it would have to go in this quadrant here, because it has the fewest. And that's the idea with the game. First player to get 4 in a row is going to win. Now, there is an extra module that could be added to the game, and that's with these Eternity Stones. Now, what these are, each player will start the game with one of them, and before anything is added to the board, each player in player turn order will add their Eternity Stone to some place on the board. So maybe the black player places there and the white player places there. And these guys are going to stay there the entire game. They'll never move, and they don't count towards getting your 4 in a row. In fact, they block it for you. Essentially what these are, blocking stones, and they get in the way. So you have to kind of keep that in mind where you're placing that out there, that it's going to essentially make it harder to get a 4 in a row in the quadrant that it is placed in. But that's what that module adds to the game. The same rules apply trying to get 4 in a row. And there you have it. That is Natural Chaos. Let's go back up top and share our thoughts on this one. And we're back, and now we're going to share our thoughts real quick on Natural Chaos from a gamer and non-gamer's perspective. So Sam, first thing I want to ask you about this one, and yes, this is prototype, so everything you saw in the rules portion of the video, prototype, but the 3D components I thought were pretty cool with this one, being since it's just a straightforward kind of abstract strategy game, and a lot of abstract strategy games don't have a lot of theme or a lot of look. Well, I guess some of them have kind of like a minimalist look to them, but this one definitely has kind of a table presence with those 3D pieces. What did you think about that?
Yeah, I thought they looked great.
Yeah. Fire, water, stone, plants. The pieces look great. Can't wait to see what they look like in that final production of this game. But what did you think about the gameplay with this one?
Yeah, I thought it was good. I think at first you're kind of wondering when it's going to feel competitive, and then all of a sudden it starts getting competitive.
Yeah, I think that's a good way of putting it, because at first it sort of feels like, okay, you're doing that, I'm doing this, let's see what happens.
You need to get pieces out there before you can really start.
Yeah, and so the board just fills up naturally as you play the game, and then like you said, it's like at some point you realize, oh, they're like 2 moves away from winning the game.
Yeah.
And you're not even sure if they know that they see that they're 2 moves away. You don't want to draw their attention to it sometimes. But it's fun that sort of just rises up to the surface of the game, if that makes sense. Talk about the fun factor with this one, and that, you are trying to slyly make some moves to make something happen, to win, and there's clever opportunities to swap on the board. What was that like in your eyes?
Yeah, I mean, you definitely have to pay attention to what you're doing, but also pay attention to what the other person's doing. And it's hard to focus on both of those. I definitely lost sight of what Lance was doing when he ended up winning, because I was focused on what I was doing and planning that next move. So you need to be able to kind of split your attention a little bit.
Yeah. As is the case with a lot of abstract strategy games, or at least good ones, in my opinion, they have that oh no moment or that aha moment where you either realize the mistake you made, or that you're going to get them. And this game has that. And it's got it because there's these 4 different quadrants you're playing on all at the same time. It's very similar to Shobu, if you're familiar with Shobu, because Shobu also has that concept of playing on multiple boards. And maybe some other games have it as well. But this one also has that ranking hierarchy, swapping the elements around. What did you think about that?
Yeah, I think that part I didn't use as much as I think I would in
Future plays,
yeah, because it takes a little bit of like higher level thinking and planning to do that. But I can see how it could be really beneficial.
Yeah, I think you're right, because it's not something that's just so right there on the surface the first time you play the game, as is like maybe just trying to strategically line up your pieces without doing that. But then as you kind of get into the game and start to learn that maybe higher level of thinking with it, it definitely comes out in later on in the game. So I really enjoyed it. One that I would recommend playing. What about you? Playing this one with non-gamers?
Yeah, for sure.
There you go. The game is Natural Chaos. It is from 3Nail Games. It is coming to crowdfunding, so make sure to check out the link down below in the description of this video after you watch it, and leave us some comments while you're down there.
Make sure to like and subscribe and push that bell button so you get notifications of all our new content.
I'm Lance.
I'm Sam.
And we are Love to Hate, where we bridge the gap between gamers and non-gamers. We'll catch you next time.